It's important that you know the quadratic formula, but it's also important that you know how to complete the square and when one option is better than the other. So if we take a look at this next problem here, you have a quadratic and they tell you that the solution is given in the form of the square root of k minus 1. So the fact that I see it written like this means that I'm probably going to not be able to factor this. I can try and factor this and I can't. So my next option is quadratic formula or completing the square. So here I would use completing the square. Why would I use that? Well, the quadratic formula is that x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I used to have a song that I was taught to remember that, but I'm not going to sing it to you right now. So notice here how I have something in the denominator. So if I solved this using the quadratic formula, I would be dividing by 2. But here I don't have dividing by 2. So let's complete the square. How do I do that? Well, I always like to get this constant over by itself, so equals 1. And we're asking ourselves, what do I have to add here so it becomes a perfect square? Well, in order for this to become a perfect square, this would become half of 2, which is 1. And over here, we put that value squared, which is actually 1. But if I add 1 to the left, that's right, I have to add it to the right. So it becomes 2. Now solving this, we take the square root of both sides. Don't forget, when you take the square root, you end up with plus or minus the square root of 2. And now we end up with x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 2, which can be rewritten in this form as the square root of 2 minus 1. And it's plus or minus the square root of 2. So here, the value of k is just under the radical. So k is equal to 2.